Hi guys, thanks for joining me in this Yoga Sissel video. And this time we're actually in a different living room. It's my parents' living room and I'm visiting them here in Copenhagen, Denmark. It involved a 22-hour plane ride from Melbourne. I tried to do yoga on the plane. I was absolutely desperate. And even the stopover airport, I think it was in Doha, Qatar, I was doing a little bit of yoga rolling around on the floor in the airport. And so it inspired me to make this video for other travelers, whether you're going to be in a plane or a train, or driving road trips. This will make you feel a little bit juicy, iron out all the kinks, and if you're crossing time zones, you might even notice that it helps to sort of reset your body clock. You might need a mat, you might just roll out a towel or practice on a carpet. It's fine. So start seated. You might like to sit kneeling onto your heels. You might like to put a little block or something between the heels if you need to elevate and take the tension out of your knees. It can be quite nice just to sit onto your legs and give them a little bit of a compress, help squeezing out any blood that might have collected and pooled into your legs after you've been maybe sitting on a plane for 22 hours like I was. And then once you're feeling comfortable, and if that again isn't comfortable for your knees or your hips or whatever, then maybe you just sit cross-legged. And then once you feel comfortable, sit nice and tall, the head on top of the shoulders over your hips, but the ribs staying in. And then inhale your hands, sweep all the way up. And then bring the elbows down. And you're going to sweep all the way up. And then bring the hands down to your heart. Press the hands out, all the way out to the side, and you're going to dive your fingers in, and reach yourself up nice and tall, and pulling your elbows out to the side and down. And you sweep the arms all the way up, just getting a little bit of movement into our shoulders. Bring the hands down to your heart, and then press the hands out. A little bit of movement, always really nice to be counteracting. If you've been sitting down, I was just on a plane ride from Australia to Denmark for 22 hours. So any movement I was very grateful for. And then from here, maybe you come sit onto your heels like this. It is now getting a little bit of a stretch into the feet. They don't get a lot of love when you're sitting on a plane. So just stretching into the feet, and we'll do the same arm movement. So sweeping your hands all the way up. This is basically just a distraction from the discomfort in your feet. And then peel the elbow, bring the elbows down. Sweep the hands all the way up. And bring the hands to your heart. Bring your hands forward and out to the side. And then diving the fingers down and in, press them all the way up. Elbows down. Sweep your hands up. Hands to heart. Last time, your toes are going to be feeling this love. Press the hands out. And dive the fingers in. Reach up. And then bring the hands down. Just take a moment. Close your eyes, rest your thumbs against your heart. And just see if you can find this one breath where you forget about the discomfort in your toes and your feet and your ankles. And then open your eyes. And then coming to all fours. Having your toes pointing straight back, your knees under your hips. One of my favorites is really nice for releasing your lower back, which is going to take a lot of beating when you're sitting down for so long in a plane, or whether it's a train or a bus ride or wherever you're traveling to. And then you sit back. Inhale forward, round forward, and rock back. Inhale forward, and rock back. Last time. Inhale forward, and rock back. We're going to walk our hands around to the right. If you can, keep your hands shoulder distance apart.
keep your left sit bone onto your left heel. And maybe even stretching that left hand a little bit further so you get a nice lengthening along the left side of your body. Lengthening out the side that gets tight from sitting down, being hunched over. Then you need to walk your hands back through center, and keeping them shoulder distance apart. And then this time the right hand stretches out a little bit longer. Maybe your forehead rests on the floor, maybe it doesn't. Doesn't really matter, as long as you're not gripping into your neck. The right buttocks is pulling back and pressing down to the right heel. And then you come back. Stretch your fingers out in front. Pull your heels or your hips back. And then inhale up to all fours. And from here, tucking your toes. And then tuck your chin and press all the way back. We're just going to pedal out our feet. So on plane rides, always telling you to, every half hour get up and walk a little bit. So now we're just going to do that, but in a dog stretch, so we get a nice stretch and lengthen along the back of the body. So just walking out your dog can be really, really good to move to the breath. So begin your inhale and lift your heels up high. Then beginning your exhale, sink your right heel, bend the left knee. Then inhale to lift up high. Exhaling, the left heel sinks, the right knee bends. Inhale up high. Exhaling, heel. Inhale up high. Exhale, heel. One more time, each side. And as you sink your heel, you pull your hips back, reach your hands forward. Lifting up high, last side. Lift up both heels. Last sinking of both heels. And lifting up. Bring your knees to the floor. And then you're just going to leave your hands there. You're going to bring your knees together. So you can press your inner thighs and your knees together. And then your arms are just a little bit wider, a little bit in front of your shoulders. And only moving between your shoulder blades. So to begin with, how close can you bring your shoulder blades together? You're trying to bring your heart towards the floor, but the arms stay straight. And then the opposite. How far can you take your shoulder blades apart? And then bring the shoulder blades together. And inhale, bring the shoulder blades apart. Exhale here, bring them a little bit further apart. And as you inhale, bring the shoulder blades together. And as you exhale, squeeze them a little bit more. And then come back to a neutral spine. Bring your left hand underneath your nose. Knees are still together. And then inhale to peel your right arm all the way up. And then keeping your left arm straight, you're just going to thread the right hand as far across as you can. One more time. Peel the right arm all the way up. And exhale, reaching the hand across. Third time's the charm. Inhaling all the way up. And exhaling. And then you swap sides. So always just lots of different repetitive movements, nice and gentle, just so you get a little bit juicy after perhaps getting a bit stale on a plane. And the left arm peels all the way. And then keeping the right arm straight, feed the left arm as far across. So again, we're getting into the shoulder blades. All the way up. And across. And if you follow your fingertips with your gaze, then you also get a little bit of the release along the neck. And across.
And bring your hands back to the floor. Bring your knees shoulder distance, hands, or knees hip distance, hands shoulder distance. And then just squeeze your hips to one side. And squeeze your hips to the other side. Inhale around, right hip to right shoulder. And across the left hip to left shoulder. And one last time, sit down onto your heels. Rock and forth. And back. We're going to come up and sit into a cross-legged position. So again, a little bit more gentle movement. Sit comfortable cross-legged. You might like to elevate the hips. You're going to sweep up, lengthen up, and bring the hands down. Inhaling, twisting to your right. And as you exhale, reaching your fingers as far forward while your hips pull as far back. Exhaling all the way. Inhaling through center. One more time, exhaling, reaching forward and stretching back, or pulling back. And third time, inhale. And exhale. Inhaling all the way up. And then you're just going to walk your hands forward. Stay up on the fingertips so your arms stay a little bit away. And again, just trying to reach your fingers forward and hips pull back. And you're going to walk yourself up. You're going to change the cross of your legs. See if you can do it without the help of your hands. Just getting your legs to do a little bit more work than they might have been doing. And then sweep your hands all the way up. And bring your hands down to your heart. So I call this movement stirring the cauldron. I feel a little bit like a witch casting a spell. Inhale around to the left. And cast your spell, reaching far and wide. In calligraphy yoga, it's actually called sweeping dragon. Again, that's a little bit magical. Exhaling across. And last time, inhale. Exhale. And coming back in. Sweep your arms, reach your arms all the way up, grabbing a fistful of stardust. And then bring your hands to the floor, walk your hands out in front, stretching yourself. Releasing into those hips and outer buttocks, getting the buttocks a little bit of a stretch. Sometimes it can feel nice just giving yourself a little bit of wiggle. Again, a little bit of gentle movement. The best way to counterpose having been in a still position for a very long time. You're going to walk yourself up. From here, holding on to the tops of your feet, making sure there's nothing behind you. And roll yourself back. Lying down onto the floor. Just resting here for a moment, letting the front of your body open. So lying down here in this cross-legged position can feel so nice and relaxing just to lie down if you've been cooped up in a little tiny airplane chair for a very long time. And it can feel really good to let the front of your body relax and release and just open. You might feel into your quads, your hips, your belly beginning to soften, your breath beginning to soften. And you can stay here for as long as you like. Becoming more and more relaxed. And then when you feel ready, uncross your legs and place your feet flat on the floor. We're just going to do 2 rounds of a bridge pose. So with your feet flat on the floor, squeezing your bum, feet press straight down, your hips lift all the way up. And then you sink them back down. And one more time. Lift it all the way up. And bring them all the way down. And your knees come into your chest. Keep your legs together if you only had one leg. And have your arms out. You can have them out at a T shape, but I actually like having them bit like cactus shape, because this way I can feel my elbows trying to pin to the floor and the back of my shoulders, trying to stay on the mat and the shoulder blades squeezing together. So firstly, inhale, and as you exhale, bring your knees towards your right elbow. And inhaling back up, and across to the left elbow. Keeping the knees together, really important, so that you're moving your hips and your pelvis as a single unit. Come back up, and across to the right. Keeping the opposite shoulder and elbow on the floor. Inhale up, and exhale across to the left. And coming up, and this time we try to bring the knees all the way to the right elbow. Maybe you rest your right hand on your knee. If you'd like to add a little bit more twist into the spine, you can even turn your head to look towards the back. And the back shoulder blade, the left shoulder blade, squeezing in towards the spine and down towards the floor. Elbow on the mat, and you really feel it opening across the chest area. You might even notice some pops and cracks into your spine or along the spine as your back is realigned, and you feel the side body opening, your lower back releasing. You might like to breathe into that space. You're going to stay here for as long as you like. And when you feel ready, bring the knees up and across to the left. Again, maybe turning your head to get a little bit more twist. So that's the lower back, the spine. You might even feel it around your hips. And across the front of your chest, your armpit area. Just letting it all open and relax and realign. And once you stayed on this side for as long as you stayed on the first side, breathing down into the space that's being created. Take a nice final deep breath in. And exhale it out. And then you're going to release the left hand from knees, bring your knees back up to center, and keep rolling all the way across to the right. And you're going to sit up, and coming around to the wall for the last bit. And this is probably the nicest part of all. So legs up the wall. You can have your butt a little bit away from the wall so that you can comfortably rest your heels against the wall without straining your legs, without straining into your lower back. And this can feel really, really good. You might even notice that after a while you begin to feel it's almost like cascades of blood and lymph fluid that just drains down your legs. And if you'd like to help everything move along, you can take your feet off the wall and stretch them up towards the sky, and you can make some nice circles with your ankles in one direction and the other. Or you can floint your feet, where you try and straighten out, reach your ankles long, the toes pull back. The opposite of this is making a bit of a fist with your foot. So pulling the foot towards you, flexing your ankles, but trying to point your toes. You can also turn that out to the side, turning the soles of the feet away from each other. And the counter position for this is turn the soles of the feet towards each other and trying to pull your toes back. Or maybe just relaxing your toes, relaxing your ankles. And again, like I said, you can always just keep your legs resting on the wall. And you stay here for as long as you like. Might be 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. The longer you stay here, the more you notice that your breath begins to soften and your belly softens. You might be able to hear my belly gurgling. It's that relaxation response, the rest and digest parasympathetic nervous system being activated. And when you feel like you've finished here, before we move back up to seated, you bring your knees into your chest for happy baby pose. So it's a really nice compression into the front of the hips and the groin area. So all of that drainage from the feet has to travel down through the groin area. We've got a lot of lymph nodes. And this gentle compression just help keep things moving and push it through, helping the filtration. And it is that drainage and filtration of the lymph fluid and
the circulatory system that helps to create that refreshed feeling. Let your shoulders relax, and it's the heaviness of your hands on your feet that help to encourage your knees down towards the floor. They might one day make it to the floor. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe next lifetime. Sometimes it can feel really good rocking from side to side. But just let yourself feel soft. Notice if you're carrying any tension or gripping into your neck or your jaw or your eyebrows, just let it all go. And again, stay here for as long as you need. And when you're ready, you release your feet. Roll once more into your right side. Keep rolling, so use your hands to press you up. And then finding your way back into just a comfortable seat. I really like finishing in the seated position. Gives you an opportunity just to check in. I like lining up my heels with my groin. That can feel comfortable. Sometimes just cross legs, or if you were comfortable as we started in a kneeling Japanese style, be my guest. And then just letting your hands rest, eyes closed, head resting on top of your shoulders, and just noticing how you feel. Do you feel ready for bed, or do you feel a little bit refreshed? Maybe there's a little voice inside you requesting a few more minutes, a few more breaths in one of the postures or practices that we did. And then by all means, you, my guest, give yourself a little bit more time in whatever you need. Maybe it was that twist of the spine when you're lying on our back. You never know. Maybe it's feet up the wall, legs up the wall. Whatever you feel you need a little bit more of, just listen to your body, be nice to yourself. And then when you feel ready, you open your eyes. Thanks so much for joining, and I hope you have an awesome holiday or wherever you may be. See you again soon. Namaste.